She claimed she was helping her sister prepare for a job interview, but I noticed she left behind her charger and her sister posted a story from a spa in another city. I'd met her sister a screenshot and asked, "Did she help you from the steam room?" The reply? "She told me you two broke up." I've always been the kind of guy who believed in giving people the benefit of the doubt. Grew up in a small town outside of Kansas City. People looked out for each other. Told the truth. Kept their word. I carried that into adulthood, especially in relationships. Hannah and I met at a charity 5K my company sponsored. She was helping run the check-in table. We started talking after I noticed her hoodie said Mercy Clinic. She was a nurse, passionate, sharp, funny. I liked her immediately. We went out for burgers the next night. The rest was history. By the time we hit the 2-year mark, we were living together in a 2-bedroom duplex. Joint bank account. Shared groceries. We even started looking at homes. She wanted something with a yard. I was leaning toward a modern townhouse. We compromised on a fixer-upper we hadn't even found yet. At least, that's where I thought we were headed. It was a random Tuesday when things started to unravel. I'd wrapped up a meeting earlier than expected and decided to head home around 3 p.m. I picked up some takeout on the way, her favorite burrito bowl, half mild, half hot, no sour cream. When I walked in, she was already at the door, keys in one hand, tote bag over her shoulder. "Oh, you're home early," she said, smiling. I didn't think much of it. She told me she was going to help her sister, Allison, with a job interview. Something about practicing questions and fixing her resume. "She's nervous," Hannah said. "Social work job. Big deal for her." I gave her the food, kissed her on the cheek, told her I'd see her in a bit. She said she'd be home by 8. When she left, I flopped on the couch. Then I noticed something. Her phone charger was still plugged in. Now, this might sound small, but Hannah was the type who triple-checked before leaving. Phone, charger, water bottle, badge. Always. And she never left without that charger. I picked it up, stared at it, and that first tiny thought crept in. That whisper. Something's off. Still, I brushed it away. People forget things. Hours passed. I ate. Watched some dumb Netflix series. Scrolled through Instagram. And that's when I saw it. Allison posted a story. It was short. Just 5 seconds. A steam room. Fogged up windows. Cucumber slices and water. Background music playing. The location tag said Overland Park Wellness Spa. That was not in town. I blinked. Watched it again. I waited to see if Hannah would post anything, maybe a picture of notes or Allison in a blazer. Nothing. So I took a screenshot of the spa story and DMed Allison. "Did she help you from the steam room?" I was being a little sarcastic, but I didn't expect what came next. Less than a minute later, Allison replied, "She told me you two broke up." I just sat there, staring, heart thudding, stomach turning. I typed, "When?" Her reply, "Last week." She said it was mutual, that you'd moved out. I didn't answer her after that. I didn't tell her the truth. I didn't tell her Hannah was lying through her teeth. Instead, I just stared at the wall for a long time. Everything started crashing in. The weird late nights. The way she always locked her phone now. The way she pulled away when I tried to plan stuff more than a few weeks out. I felt like an idiot. But I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because something cold and sharp settled in. I wasn't going to cry or scream or beg. I wasn't going to give her a reaction. I was going to wreck her carefully built lie. The next few days, I pretended like everything was normal. I hugged her. Asked how her interview prep went. She smiled and told me Allison felt better about her resume. Lying. Straight to my face. That's when I started digging. We had an old iPad that barely got used. It was still logged into her iCloud. Messages, emails, calendar events, all synced. She never thought to sign out. There he was. Brad, a respiratory therapist from her clinic. They'd been texting since February. It started innocent. Jokes. Work venting. Then it turned flirty. By March, they were meeting outside of work. April, full-blown affair. There were texts like, "Wish I could fall asleep next to you instead." He's clueless. Still thinks I'm his future wife. And the one that broke me, I'm going to end it after the St. Louis conference. I just want a clean break. She had planned to lie to me until she didn't need to anymore. I stared at the screen for hours, rereading everything. There were photos too. Not nudes, but couple-wise shots. Holding hands. Drinks at a bar. One in a hotel bathroom mirror. I felt like a ghost in my own home. So I made a decision. I wouldn't just leave. I'd make sure she remembered how I left. She had that conference in 3 weeks. A weekend trip to St. Louis. She was supposed to present on ICU mental health strategies. She asked me to come. I smiled and said, sounds fun. She thought I was still hooked. But while she was packing for her trip, I was packing for good. I waited until the night before she left. She went to bed early, said she wanted to get sleep before the drive. I stayed up. I packed every piece of my stuff. Clothes, gear, work stuff. I even backed up my photos from our shared drive and deleted them from the home desktop. Before I left, I printed everything. Her messages, screenshots, calendar events, Brad's name, everything. I put them in a folder and left it on the kitchen counter. On top, one line in black Sharpie, you said I was boring. Hope this shakes things up. You'll be off the lease by Monday. I walked out at 3 a.m. I didn't text, didn't answer her calls. I blocked her on everything. But I wasn't done. She had that presentation. I knew the conference had a code of conduct and professional ethics clause. So I sent in the screenshots from a burner account. Not just the affair, her bragging about using clinic supplies for personal stuff. One message said, took a few Adavins for the weekend. Hope no one notices. I don't know exactly what happened after that. But her social media vanished within a week. Brad's page went private. Our mutual friends started texting me WTF happened, and I never answered them. Because I didn't need to explain. She told everyone we broke up. So I made it true. A week passed after I left. I had moved into a temporary apartment, a month-to-month lease downtown, top floor, no frills, but quiet. Clean. Just me and my dog, Toby, who I picked up from the shelter 2 days after leaving. I didn't want company, but I needed something to get me out of my head. I figured she'd move on fast. She already had someone. What did she care? But then I got a call from her work number. I let it ring. Then another call. This time it came through as no caller ID. I answered just to make sure it wasn't one of my clients. Why would you do this to me? It was her. She didn't even start with a hello. Do what? I said, pretending I didn't know. You sent those emails. You ruined everything. I stayed silent. They're putting me under review. HR got involved. They're digging into my records. You know how hard I've worked for this job. I didn't say a word. Then she said something that stopped me cold. I didn't even sleep with him until after I told you we were done. Damn. But she kept going. I was scared. I knew it would hurt you. I just wanted time to figure things out. You lied to your sister. You told her we broke up a week before you left for that spa. Silence. You told her before you told me. You had a whole other life, Hannah. Don't act like you were perfect, she snapped. You were checked out. Always glued to your laptop. We barely talked anymore. So you cheated? I asked. That's how adults handle it? You don't get to sit on your high horse now. You nuked my career. I hung up. And for a moment I felt relief. Until the text started. From her. From fake numbers. From people I didn't even know. One read, real men don't ruin women's lives just because they got dumped. Another, hope your dog dies like your love life did. It got worse. I got a letter in the mail, handwritten. Rot in hell, traitor. No return address. I reported it. Filed a police report. They couldn't do much without proof of who sent it. But it didn't stop me. Because then the next twist hit. Brad, the guy she cheated with, reached out to me. He found me on LinkedIn. Sent a message. Didn't know she was still with you. I'm sorry, man. I broke it off. She told me she was single. She lied to me too. I wanted to ignore it. But I replied, good luck. She said she was gonna end it after the conference. Sounds like a pattern. He replied once more. She said the same thing about her ex before you. I think she's been doing this for years. That sat with me for a while. And then I got another surprise. Allison, her sister, messaged me from a new account. Said she got blocked by Hannah for siding with me. I didn't even take sides, she said. But I told her what she did was wrong. Now she won't talk to me. She's burning bridges left and right. She told me Hannah's parents had to pick her up from the clinic one day because she broke down in the parking lot after being suspended. Said she couldn't breathe. Said everyone was turning on her. I won't lie. A part of me felt sorry for her in that moment. But then I remembered all the lies. The sneaking around. The gaslighting. And I remembered what it felt like. I thought that was it. Thought the damage was done. The truth was out. And she'd just disappear into her own mess. But I was wrong. 2 weeks after the HR review, I got an email from an old client, someone from a small law firm I'd done tech work for about a year ago. He said my name came up in a weird context. "You might want to check this out," he wrote. Attached was a screenshot. It was from a private Facebook group for nurses and healthcare workers in the Kansas City area. Someone had posted a long rant about me. No name, but enough detail to make it obvious who they were talking about. Some men can't handle rejection. They'll stalk you, hack into your private messages, and then try to ruin your career out of spite. Watch out for manipulative IT guys who act sweet but are actually sociopaths. It had hundreds of comments. Some defending the post. Others asking for receipts. One even wrote, "Are you talking about that girl from Mercy Clinic who got suspended?" The story was unraveling fast. I didn't reply. Didn't jump in. But I took screenshots. Every single comment. Every edit. Every timestamp. I sent them to my attorney. He told me I had a strong defamation case, especially if she was sharing false info about me that affected my professional life. That night, I got a text from Allison again. "She's out of control. She thinks you're trying to destroy her reputation. She's telling everyone you were emotionally abusive and that you're stalking her." I didn't know what to say. Then Allison dropped another bomb. She was talking to someone else before Brad too. Guy from her nursing school. She does this every time things get serious. She cheats, lies, and spins the story so she's the victim. Everything clicked. I wasn't the first. I wasn't even the second. I was part of a pattern. Someone she locked in just long enough to line up the next escape route. And when the new plan came together, she torched the bridge behind her and played victim to whoever would listen. But this time, I wasn't just walking away. So I went further. I compiled everything. Timeline. Screenshots. Witnesses. The clinic's name. Her stories from the spa. The burner texts. Her Facebook post. I sent it to the HR department at Mercy Clinic, not from a burner this time. From my actual email, attached to a formal complaint signed by my attorney. 2 days later, I got confirmation that she was officially terminated. Still, I didn't feel done. Because in all of this, after all the lies, manipulation, and rage, she never once said sorry. Never owned up to anything. She just kept rewriting the story like it was a diary entry she could toss in the trash and start over. But not this time. I thought I'd feel something, relief, pride, maybe even a sense of peace after she got fired. But I didn't. Because even though the truth was out and she'd been caught, Hannah didn't stop. She started spreading lies to anyone who'd listen. Mutual friends. Coworkers from her old clinic. Even family. She painted herself as this broken woman who'd been emotionally bullied by her jealous ex. Claimed I hacked her, threatened her, blackmailed her. The worst part? Some people believed her. And that made me realize something I hadn't wanted to admit. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about control. About making sure she still had a grip on the story even if it meant lying her way deeper into a hole. But here's where things turned hard. One of the people who believed her? My boss. A corporate client forwarded him a thread she found on a private forum. It was full of anonymous posts accusing me of abusing access to spy on women and weaponizing IT tools for personal revenge. I knew who wrote them. There were no names, but the language? The timeline? All Hannah. My boss pulled me into a video call. "Look, I don't believe most of it," he said. "But this is messy. It's distracting. Clients don't like drama even if it's fake." I was put on unpaid leave until the smoke clears. So there I was. She lost her job. And now I lost mine too. All because I fought back. All because I didn't just stay quiet and take the hit. I spiraled a bit after that. Drank more. Slept less. I even started to wonder if I'd gone too far, if I'd let my anger turn into something toxic. But then something happened that snapped me out of it. Allison reached out again. She said Hannah had been arrested. Apparently, she forged documents, old prescriptions, to get meds after losing her clinic access. When the pharmacy flagged her and called the clinic, everything unraveled. Police got involved. Her parents bailed her out, but the charges stuck. Fraud. Forgery. Misuse of controlled substances. She was looking at real jail time. And I didn't feel good about it. I didn't laugh. Didn't toast to karma. I just sat there, numb. Because somewhere along the way, revenge stopped being sharp. It got dull. Heavy. Like dragging a bag of rocks through my life just to make sure she didn't walk away clean. But I'd made mistakes too. I'd stayed too long. I ignored red flags. I let myself believe that love was something you fight for, even when the other person's already left the ring. So I made a choice. I pulled back the lawsuit. I didn't need the money. I didn't need the win. She'd already lost everything, and so had I, in a way. Instead, I started over. I deleted the backups. I changed my number. I took a new job in another city. Denver. It's quieter. Less noise. No ghosts. Toby comes with me everywhere. We go on walks, we sit by the lake, we start over. Every day. Sometimes I think about her. Sometimes I don't. But when I do, I remember this. She left behind her charger that day, and I used it to plug into the truth. It burned, but it also lit the way out. And I'll never walk blind again.